My name is Matthew Osborn and I am the IB CP coordinator for the British School of Sophia. My role today is to give you an understanding of what our IT technologies are like in the school and how we use them. British School of Sophia believes very strongly in a good foundation in technology and the use of technology in a correct and safe way, and we bring this into our school in many different ways. The very first thing that we have at our school is the fact that we have a dedicated Apple suite and a Windows suite where children are able to go in and use the computers and become confident with both of the technologies, because we feel that depending on where they are in the world and where their jobs take them, they may have the opportunity to use both or use one, and that we feel that offering them the opportunity to use both makes them confident. On top of this, we've taken on the idea that as a school that believes very strongly in technology and the use of technology for the 21st century, we have introduced quite a few years ago the use of iPads. Every child at the school has an iPad which is used at school. Up until last year, every child from grade 3 to grade 12 had an iPad that was used both for work at school and could be taken home as well if we needed to do anything assignment-wise, research-wise, or anything like that that the teacher felt was necessary. At the beginning of the new academic year, we felt that we needed to bring this technology even further down, and now we have a dedicated iPad for every child from grade 1 to grade 12. This does not mean that we don't leave our small children out, and they have lessons where they have teachers teaching them about the use of iPads and very basic use of technology, so that by the time they get to grade 1 and then finally grade 3 and then moving into the bigger school, they are very confident in the use of technologies in the classroom. We feel it's important that technology is used because it is a complement to what we see as a traditional teaching method. We understand our children are very confident. They are 21st century users of technology, and therefore they need to have that built into their curriculum. Our school relies very much on the idea of this as a complement to what they have in the classroom. So in our school we use international primary years curriculum, we use the international middle years curriculum, and then we move on to the IB. In these programs it is a really good opportunity for the children to use technologies to complement what they do in the class. There's a lot of research that we do with them, there's a lot of collaborative work we do with them, and then also the presentations that they then put together. In the IB, there is a lot of use of technology because it is part of what we see as creating the whole child and creating a confident child in the use of technologies. Presentations given to the children, presentations given by the children, and also any other additional usage of the technologies that we have in the classroom are encouraged. It allows them to then expand what they do, and also helps us as a school scale back on the use of hard copies of textbooks, of things that we want to try and make the school more green in the use of. So this has helped us in a way also to use things like Cognity and in-thinking with our students, to be able to then allow them not to have textbooks necessarily, because this we feel is a much better use of technology rather than just an add-on to what they're doing. One of the other things that we find is very useful in the classroom, especially since the COVID pandemic started, was the fact that we were very comfortably able to move from a face-to-face situation to an online situation quite quickly and rapidly. The children were able then to work from home, and we were able to continue our schooling as if we were at school, which for us was a great benefit because we wanted to keep as much of our structure going as possible. This has then brought on the idea of something that we've wanted and planned for a long time, and that was making sure the children that may be absent from school or travelling because of the nature of our international school are not disadvantaged by being away from school. So the technologies and the iPads have helped in that, but we've gone that one step further, where we've now in classrooms been able to introduce the use of video conferencing. So the children can be anywhere in the world or away from school or whatever the situation is, and they are still able to take part in the lessons as active participants. So it's not just that they're there passively receiving the information, but for us it's important that even though they may not be in the classroom, they are still actively participating. For our IB programs, presentations like extended essays, talk, CAS, and also the Duke of Edinburgh have been much enhanced by the use of technology. These programs are then easily transformed to other children or transferred to other children, and they can then see their usage rather than just having children talking to them. Another use that we found very interesting is that in the times of lockdown, we've had some of our children at school, and we've had some of them at home, and in certain lessons, such as a Spanish lesson, we've actually had the older children teaching the younger children through the use of the video conferencing. This, we feel, makes the learning experience for the children a lot more interesting, because it's not necessarily just the teachers teaching. It is showing that the children are comfortable teaching as well.
You guys, one of you, will read it, and if you have any questions for any new words that you guys don't know, you can ask me and Daria, okay?
Okay.
Who would volunteer for me to start reading the first two parts that are shown of the body?
Can I?
Bujidada?
Aprende la frente, los ojos, la nariz, la boca, los dedos, el brazo, la rodilla, el pie.
We also have the use of Bitrix, which allows us to then use the technology within the school to be able to direct information to children and parents and teachers in a very structured way. The children are then able to contact people really quickly, and there is not that breakdown of communication. So although COVID may have been quite an unsettling situation for many schools, for us we saw it as an opportunity to enhance and develop what we already have, in order to make the children as confident and comfortable with using technology as possible. On top of the fact that we have all this technology, we've also made sure that we have a dedicated IT department that works with either parents or students, and especially with teachers, to make sure that they are confident in the use of the technologies in the best possible way. It's something that we insist is in the program. We want to see IT in lessons, and we don't want it just as an addendum to a lesson. We actually want to see that it enhances the lesson and that the children are able to use these technologies really, really well. For us, there are many advantages, and we know that there are many advantages for having technology in a school, and again, it shows how confident children are in using these technologies. The teachers are able then to direct children in constructive ways in using these technologies and also enhancing their work. So out of a rather unfortunate pandemic, we've been able to then have children who are confident in the use of these technologies. So for us, it's been able to justify why we have put so much money and time into our programs with technology in the classroom, especially when you are not at school and learning is not face-to-face. This, of course, has its opposite and downside, is the fact that there is then the unfortunate situation that if technology is used too much, as we've had with home learning, children spend too much time in front of the screens. We've tried to work ways around that, and especially with the younger children, we've encouraged them and parents not to necessarily be online as much as possible. The other possibility for, I would say, not necessarily a downside, but it does mean that for some children it becomes a lot easier for them to justify, or parents to justify, staying at home. We work actively with those parents to make sure that we make them aware that although online learning and the use of technology is really, really good, it cannot replace face-to-face learning. And for us, that connection, the social abilities, and the working with the other children is very important, because collaboration, working together, is also one of the foundations of our school. So it has many, many advantages, and we are trying to use those to enhance our students' learning at the school and being able to use what is in the curriculum and add to it.